king gave wine and cheese. And I was just sitting there this morning, and really, I didn't even have a sermon this morning. I woke up late, and I was sitting there because me and Nigel had to come around here and put the church back together this morning. Well, we tried to be a little cheap. One time, and we whined about that, wine and cheese. Well, put that on camera.
Oh, Lord.
But I was sitting there because, man, my body was, I'm telling you, I said, man, my body just feels like I've been beat down all night. I feel the same way. I don't know what it is. He said, maybe I need to stretch, maybe I don't know what it is either. It just feels like we just got, I just felt beat down. And I was sitting there because, I stayed up and watched my bears.
Oh, yeah.
Beat on well, they didn't just beat on them. They won the game. They won it in overtime. Green Bay. And they were showing the news clippings and all of that stuff on ESPN, and they was talking about it. And a hint to go out. One of the players from Chicago had a cheese grater hat. My sister-in-law got a cheese head hat. So I grabbed the cheese grater and I sent her a video of grinding, grating some cheese. I should have sent it to somebody else.
Lord have mercy.
Because, well, I don't even really know if she's really paying or not. I think she's just a fan because her son was a fan and she was trying to just get the consumer to know no players on the team. Never know any players on the team. But she says she was a fan. She says I let you live. Because we talk this. Exodus 16, 2 through 15. Exodus 16, 2 through 15. Y'all stay safe. And they took the journey. I'm speaking of the children of Israel. And they took the journey from Elam, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elam and Sinai. On the 15th day of the second month after they departed out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. Does that kind of sound familiar in your life? When things just ain't working out the way you want them. And then most likely they were complaining because, they were comfortable in the bondage in which they were in. They were just comfortable being where they are. And when things change, and we're not really used to change, we tend to what? Murmur, right? And complain. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died in the hands of the Lord in the land of Egypt. When he sat by the fresh pots, and when he did eat bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth unto this wilderness. So they didn't recognize the first wilderness that they were in. But they said this wilderness. Because we ain't used to change. to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then said the Lord unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my laws or no. Sometimes we don't even recognize that God is raining provisions for us, because all we're doing is murmuring and complaining, whining about our current situations, and whining about what, man, I was used to sitting right there under the bondage of Pharaoh. I was used to sitting right there and going through all the suffering and the pain that I was going through because it felt comfortable to me. I mean, so, you know how it is, sometimes you just sit there and you get comfortable being in dead places, comfortable being in situations, dead situations at that really ain't going nowhere for you, but it's going somewhere for somebody else, because, all you see is the dead part that's going on in your life. And the problem is, it's a dead situation that's going on in your life, but you made a win. You got to get used to it. You get accustomed to it. So it's not even a problem no more. Sometimes we just sit in dead situations and we get so comfortable. I mean, it's a shame, but we get so comfortable with it that we just don't. We don't even see when God brings us out. They sat there and they complained. He said, we could have sat there by the pot of food that we were cooking on a day-to-day basis. We could have sat there where we had a place to lay our head. We could have sat there where we had the shelter and the nourishment for our bodies. But he brought us out in this wilderness. Didn't recognize much. We got to get used to it. He made us another one. Wilderness. And it ain't that. It ain't even the fact that, God said, that he was going to lead them through the wilderness. Because the other thing they forgot about is that God had already told them that they were going to provide. He was going to provide. And if he provided by bringing them out of the wilderness, he was going to provide them by making sure that they had food and nourishment and all that stuff to eat. See, if you go back to chapter 15, they talked about Nick murmuring and complaining and all of that stuff too. And, this time they were complaining about water to drink. Because they went by one little river or lake or whatever it was, and it was pretty much called bitter because it was bitter. And God provided then by giving them a palm tree. And when they hit the palm tree in the lake, it made the water drinkable. In other words, he provided. Amen. And then just next chapter in 16, they forgot. Come on. Because now they're complaining. And the crazy part about it, because I don't even know, crazy part about it, God provided so much that they had gone 3 days without even drinking water. And then all of a sudden, the murmuring and complaining started. Then God had to provide. So when we get to 16, because it said it came to pass, it shall come to pass, verse 5. I think that's why I stopped at verse 5 here. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in. and it shall be twice as much as they gather. See, Moses was getting these instructions from God. See, it's not that God don't hear our murmuring and our complaining. He don't hear. It's not that he don't hear when we're crying out to him. It's that he wants us to cry out on better terms. It's that he wants us to cry out and really mean, or make it mean something more than I'm just hungry. He wants you to cry out with the purpose of knowing that he's already set it in motion to provide. He goes on to say, and Moses and Aaron said unto the children of Israel at evening, then ye shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. Right. See, that's they didn't even recognize that part no more. They was ready to go back. And that's pretty much all their complaint was to Moses and Aaron. Take us back to where we were. That's how we are in life sometimes. Sometimes we just sit there and, man, I could just go back to where I was before I got married, before I got this job, before I had these kids, before I hit this crazy lick. As they say, I don't know if I said it right or not. If I said it in the right terms. Jude, okay, Jude.
No,
It's there it
they just don't need to
is.
say.
Hey, okay, that's all we do. Man, am I too old?
Yeah, that's a nice yeah.
Okay, hey, they told me not to say either one of them, so I'm not gonna say either one of them. Before we hit, what I need to say then? What I need to say?
Keep going.
Because sometimes we get in here, we complain about, and a couple of years ago, when Florida State came to the ACC, they had this player on their basketball team, Sam Cassell, used to call Carolina the wine and cheese crowd because they were so used to Carolina winning, and whenever they lost, they whined about it. They whined about it, and they would whine about it. And sometimes it puts you back in the memory of us in life and ourselves. Sometimes we just, when we're used to winning, and things are not working out the way we want it to work out, and things just all of a sudden take a sudden change because things change or because people change. People want you to stay the same way you always are. They want you to stay in bondage because they want to stay in bondage. They get comfortable with it, so they don't want you to change. They don't want to see you change. They don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you prosper. And that's all he was trying to do, was prosper the people. He said, I already prepared the land for you that's flowing with milk and honey. And I'm going to lead you through this wilderness period to get there. Wow. But we don't lie. And we complain. One day we complain that we ain't got enough water. Now we complain we ain't got enough food. And the thing that's so crazy about it is it's not even that God has provided the food and all of that stuff for us. It's that we lack the discipline that we need to see when God is bringing us out of stuff. We lack the discipline to understand because we're so accustomed to this. And when change comes, and it puts you on a straight, and it puts you in a different mindset, it puts you in a different heart set. And we say, Lord, create in me a new heart and renew the right spirit within me, but we fighting with it because we were so used to being where we were. And then we can't come out of it because we lack the discipline to keep pushing through all those trials. We lack the discipline to keep pushing through those tribulations. And they keep coming, and they keep coming, and they keep coming, and they keep dropping down on us, but we lack the discipline. And we keep coming to church and we keep saying, Lord, deliver me. We don't always need deliverance. We need discipline. We can get deliverance, and it's always there. We can pray, God, deliver me. But if we don't have the discipline, then all we're going to do is whine and sit down and eat cheese because lack of discipline.
Cheese is good.
And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of the Lord. Sometimes God will make you wait until the new day comes. Today he was up here and he was going through all that stuff on yesterday. But they say in the morning, you shall see the glory of the Lord. What does the morning represent? It represents the newness. It was something that you hadn't experienced before. It represents the start of something new. It represents something that's just going to start all over. This is a new day. This is a new time. We ain't never seen it before.
Never.
But it represents new opportunities.
Yes.
It should represent a new mindset. When we step out of bed and our feet hit the floor, it represents a new start to, life. It represents something has started all over again. But it said in the morning, for that he heard, that he heareth your murmuring against the Lord. And what are we that he murmured against us? This is Moses and Aaron talking pretty much to the people. Your murmuring and complaining ain't against us. It's against the Lord.
Right.
He the one brought you out.
That's right.
And Moses said, this shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the food. For that the Lord heareth your murmuring, which you murmur against him. See, Moses threw it back on them again. And what are we? Your murmuring are not against us, but against the Lord. And when Moses spake unto Aaron, saying unto the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before the Lord, for he hath heard your murmuring. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation. See, Moses really didn't do a lot of speaking to the people. Because Moses really want to mess with them folk anyhow. And sometimes that's just how life is. You murmur and complain and you go through all this stuff so much, people don't even want to mess with you. Come on, man. They don't even want to give you the time of day because I don't want to hear all of that mess coming out of them all the time. Sometimes people want to put you in a place where all you can do is just see the glory of the Lord.
That's right.
And see the blessings of the Lord. But all you just keep on, you get in there, but you just keep on wheeling your way back. You get there and you wheel your way back because
All that money.
it just ain't working out in your way.
Yeah.
But I ain't doing that last. Did I hear the bird? There again. Okay. They looked, okay. And it came to pass that Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness. And behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. He said, sometimes we can just be looking, and we can just see the dead place in which we're in.
Yes.
Or rather the dead place that we put ourselves in. Because God said, I'm leading you. I'm leading you. But you put yourself in so many situations that all you see is these dead places, this wilderness experience, this lack of. And you forget that I'm still there.
Still there.
I'm still there. See, in the first part of Exodus, you have to remember now, when God brought them out of Egypt, he said, he put this cloud, which was a white cloud, out in front of them. And he said, that cloud, I'm going to lead you through the wilderness. And then when Pharaoh tried to come and get his people back and put you back in bondage, that white cloud became a black cloud.
Right.
And it got behind them to protect them. See, in the midst of all our murmuring and complaining, we forgot. And we forget that, you know, he re-rewarded us. The first reward was to bring us out. The second reward was to protect us. And once the protection and all that stuff was done, he went back in front. You know, they really don't speak about that cloud until, again, here. And sometimes that just represents the fact that we forget that cloud is still there.
Still there.
No matter if we're still in the wilderness or not, that cloud is still there. He told me, he said, and it came to pass as Aaron spake to the whole congregation, the children of Israel. I know y'all saying, we just read that 3 times already. I'm one to say it, I said it a 4th time. That they look towards the wilderness.
Yes.
See, because I had to reiterate that part. In other words, you can underline that right there. And remember that for your own reading later. Verse 10, chapter 16, that they look towards the wilderness.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we just look, we're looking at the same situation. And that's all we want to look at. And behold, because we don't always look beyond that wilderness. We don't see. But Aaron told him, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmuring of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And And it came to pass that evening the quails came up the valley. Nice birds. All you had to do is just pluck them feathers off of it and put it on a stick and romanticize it. You ate it, bro. Then the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew laid round about the host. And when dew that laid was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay small round things, as small as the whole frost of the ground, the whole frost of the ground, on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna. For they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given to you.
Yes.
Why do people complain? I mean, why? Why do we complain? One of the reasons, is because we're anxious about our situations. We're anxious about, what we're going through. Especially if it ain't going the way we want it to go. Especially if, especially if right.
You gotta get tired of looking at it. That's me all day.
Sometimes it's about how, we think people perceive us. And I don't think they like me. Why do you care? I don't think they recognize my talents. I don't think they recognize who I am, what I can do. I mean, this is the kind of things we complain about. Sometimes my kids complain about, it might be other kids, but, not being able to stay up past 11 o'clock. Not being able to go out with their friends and do this and do that and all that stuff because Billy got his parents let them do it. I don't know Billy. It seems like one of the things that complain. Why do people complain? Martha complained to Jesus about Mary because she wasn't helping out in the kitchen. Martha also complained to Jesus because he didn't get there when she wanted him to be there for Lazarus. And sometimes we put ourselves in those types of situations because it's like, hey, I wanted you there when I wanted you there. And the songwriter said, you might not be come when you want to, you're right on time. But during the midst of your murmuring and your complaining, you missed it. He came. He came and he's always been there. He said, I never leave you and I never forsake you. I'm always there. I'm always, regardless of whether you're still in that wilderness that you put yourself in. Yeah. Because he brought them out. He brought them out. And as you read through the Old Testament and all that stuff, they kept going in. And he kept bringing them out. They kept going in, they kept bringing them out. And sometimes he just allowed them, just going through the bondage. They got held up by the Babylonians. They got held up by these people and held up by those people because they kept going in to the same types of situations,
Yeah.
doing what was right in their own eyes, thinking that, God is, he's here, but he really ain't here because I can't see his flesh. I can't see what he looked like. So, I'm going to depend on somebody that can just put out, that can be out in front of me. See, that's all they complained about as they were going through that wilderness experience, going to the place that God was preparing for them. Oh, we're going through these places, and they got a king in front of them. They got somebody that they can see. They just want somebody to see. But then one of those verses tells them that Aaron told them to look up to the cloud. See, sometimes we only see what we want to see. That we don't see that the cloud is still there. See, the cloud kind of changed its appearance now, but the cloud is still there because he's not just in place; he's in place. Amen. In other words, the place in which he placed himself in our hearts. When Jesus went back to prepare that place that he promised for you, he said, I'm going to send a comforter back. And regardless of what I'm going through, regardless of how it looks, I know that I got someone on the inside that's working on this outside. And now, whether you want to receive it or not, that's on you. Because a lot of times we'd rather sit there and whine and eat cheese. Another reason why people complain is to intimidate. There are reasons why people complain about stuff. They want to intimidate you, and they wanted to, pretty much, make you look bad, or not really make you look bad, make you feel bad, because you ain't doing it the way they do. In the scripture today, they talk about how they complained about Moses. They complained to Moses, trying to get him, pretty much to turn around and go back. Let's go back, Moses. They wanted to go back to the bad situation. Their complaints come in the midst of intimidation. How many times have you just been in a position where somebody really they didn't want to show you the way, or they didn't want to jump on board and walk with you. They wanted to hold you back. That's just life. That's life. Sometimes people just they don't want to see you come out. They don't want to see you victorious. They don't want to see you overcome. Another reason why people complain is his life ain't always fair. Life just ain't always fair. A couple of years ago, I was sitting there, and I was just thinking about how when you look at some people's lives, and you look how they're millionaires and they got all this money and all that stuff, and everything is working out and all that. Or I think everything is working out, but And I used to say, that ain't fair. I needed to be, I want to be that millionaire. I want to have all that money and go through all that stuff. Why ain't got that? I was whining and eating cheese. But the last reason why people complain, and I'm done. And that's just, sometimes people just complain. Sometimes they just complain. And no matter what we're going through, no matter how they win or how they lose, they're just complain anyhow. That's just how they are. It's just their nature. It is. It is. But you haven't complained enough to break it. So you're just going to keep on complaining. Why do people complain? They whine and eat cheese. God say, I am your provider.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord.
Jehovah Rapha. Still live. Still live. You just forget. If there is one that recognizes him as